Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Here's a story about a man named Brady. Good evening, Purple. Inner Peas. Good morning. Good evening. Whatever time it may be, where you are today. I hope you're having a great day today. Hope your weekend was relaxing. Welcome to Sunday Night Trivia. Give it the standard time that I normally do to people get their notifications and hop on in here. I'm sure there's a good amount of people are probably watching football games today or have other things that are going on. Ivory Lady. Good evening, Ivory Lady. Welcome to tonight's trivia night. I hope you had a great weekend. Two more minutes. Yes, Inner Peas. Well, not since last weekend. No. Have I heard from Cement Shoes? Not since last weekend. Rackart. Good evening, Rackart. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope the weather and everything else worked out for you this weekend. Purple, hey, football, but I'm here, so everyone else should. Everyone else should be here. Purple's here. Purple can make it. You can make it too. One minute left, and then we'll get the trivia night going. I didn't watch any football this week. My Seahawks have the weekend off, so good evening, Kitty Coo. Can't stay. I'll rewatch. My dad is in town. Just got remember to be on all messages or live messages, not top chat. Well, say hello to your father from the people here in the chat. You're in La Grande, Oregon tonight. What a lovely place La Grande is. I've been there multiple times. Yep, the 49ers are playing. The Bang Bang 49ers are playing the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles. I know who everybody's playing, but the Green Bay and the Bears were last night, and the Rams and Panthers. All right, let's get trivia night going. This is the 390th edition of True Crime Trivia. All the questions tonight are on the West Mesa Bone Collector. Good evening, Pippadot. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Pippadot. This trivia night is intended solely for entertainment and educational purposes. At no point do we diminish or disrespect the victims or survivors, nor do we place the perpetrator on a pedestal to present them in a manner that invites in admiration. My educational background is in journalism and research, and every question presented tonight is supported by verified facts and documented sources. All questions are presented in a multiple choice format. Participation is individual. There are no teams, no log as required, and no fee to play. It's absolutely free, no sponsorship, nothing at all. This event is entirely free and designed simply for entertainment and enjoyment. Participants are welcome to keep score if they choose, but equally acceptable to play without tracking correct answers. Remember to be on live chat or all chat so you will see the others' answers as they come in and you can keep up with no delay of the question being asked. Good evening, sweet universe. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend. The West Mesa murders are the killings of 11 women whose remains were found buried in 2009 in the desert on the West Mesa of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Several suspects have been named, but none were arrested or charged. All of those who were originally detained, questioned, have been cleared via DNA evidence. Their DNA does not match the DNA of the perpetrator, so they all have been released. While the killings are believed to be the work of a serial killer, the involvement of sex trafficking ring has also been suspected. It's kind of an iffy if the sex trafficking is involved, but they're definitely women of the night. Again, questions are difficult. Tonight's trivia questions will focus on the following areas: offenders, general backgrounds of crimes committed, investigation and sentencing, and methods of operation. Future trivia nights may also include verified but lesser known details, personal habits, failed attempts, family background, criminal activity, and beyond. Those lighter parts of those are pertain mainly when we're talking about an actual perpetrator itself, not in a case that is unsolved like the bone collector case. Each question is rated in a way of easy, medium, hard, or unranked. Each question has the same value: one question, one correct, or one incorrect answer. Good evening, lemon pie. Callie Lisa, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. As if you're not familiar from last weekend, you'll see a button next to each question: easy, medium, hard, or not ranked. Easy general knowledge questions more widely known and found in print media and online. Medium or lesser known facts commonly known more by those who have read or studied the subject matter a little. Hard, commonly known more to true crime fans, questions that half of those who have done trivia on the subject matter may have missed in the past. Not ranked are trivia questions that are normally come up only in final trivia or bonus questions when people are playing pub style trivia. Very limited data on how many people actually get them right. All the questions come from U.S. Crime Trivia, which is the name of the company that I'm using for all of 2026. All of the questions come from them. The subject matter, again, still is suggested by you, the viewer. With that said, without any further delay, let's get ready to rumble on some trivia. The first question is now on your screen. In what year were the West Mesa remains first discovered? Was it A, 2009, B, 2008, C, 2007, or D, 2000? Question number one is on your screen. And just a reminder again, make sure you are on live chat or all messages, not top chat. So you can see the answers and the questions as they are being asked without delay. The funniest people here are inner peas and lemon pie. I think everybody's got a little bit of humor in them too, but they definitely do keep it interesting with their their answers. You love driving through where La Grande or the West Mesa area in New Mexico. And what year were the West Mesa remains first discovered? Question number 1. 1999. I love the Albuquerque, LBQ, ABQ. I haven't been to the Albuquerque area in probably 20 years. Been there though. Used to know people who lived there, but they've all moved to Tucson. The correct answer to question number 1 is A as in apple. 2009. It was the year that the remains were first discovered. Question number 2. Who discovered the first human bones on the West Mesa? Was it A, a hiker, B, a woman walking her dog, C, a police officer, or D, a construction worker? Asking where Inner P was a couple weeks ago. Funny how. I remember that. Funny ha ha. I remember that lemon pie from Goodfellas. Are you saying I'm a clown? That was Joe Pesci, right? We all miss you guys. We miss everyone who when they're not here. And it is good to be missed. We are a family of people who love to learn little things about crimes. Who discovered the first human bones on the West Mesa? And good evening, Gianna Marie. Mountain Lion Morphew. Inner Peace and Rykart right there with the Morphew. The correct answer to question number 2 is B, a woman walking her dog. It was actually, if anybody discovered the bones on the West Mesa, it was the dog. As she was walking through this empty, area, wooded area, it's filled with sagebrush. People have used this land where the remains were found for all kinds of dumping. There's piles of dirt and rocks, like leftover construction material. It's always been that way. There's like a 27-acre lot area, so it's a pretty big sizable area. But her dog actually sniffed out the first bone, and didn't dig it out, but came up to it and was sniffing it, and then she realized, oh shit, that looks like a human bone. And I think it was a leg bone. And then cops showed up, and well, they found a whole lot more. All right, question number 3. The burial site was located on which geographic feature? A, the Rio Grande riverbank. B, Sandy's foothills. C, the West Mesa Desert Plateau. or D, a woodland area? Question number 3. The burial site was located on which geographical feature? Dog should have applied for canine unit. Sniff, sniff, right? Something I just learned about, completely off the subject, but kind of on the subject at the same time. Did you know that if you have a house that burns down and say you have the ashes of a loved one and in that house and it's completely burned to the point where there's nothing but ash and charred remains of the house, that there are dogs that are trained to cadaver dogs that can pinpoint the ashes of the remains of your loved one versus all the other ashes of the house. They can. It doesn't matter how many years the ashes have been. Like these are ashes of my great great grandfather who died 70 years ago. The dogs can actually still detect the ashes of a human being in that house. They would have had a hard time getting that femur from my dog. Jersey Shore. That's the geographic feature. It's the Jersey Shore. Question number 3. The correct answer is C, as in cat. West Mesa Desert Plateau is the geographic feature of where the burial site was located. Question number 4. What was notable about the burial pattern? Was it A, bodies were buried randomly, B, a single mass grave, C, buried in a straight line, or D, evenly spaced out? Question number 4. What was notable about the burial pattern? Do dogs know which person is evil? Good question. Well, absolutely. Dogs are actually angels. But I didn't know that about that. The canine dogs can actually detect ashes of a human being, even if they've been through another fire. Such as a house fire. They can still do it. Dogs always bark at me, and I'm not evil. It all depends upon the dog. I would say. I've had good dogs. I've had bad dogs. I've had crazy ass dogs. So, question number 4. What was notable about the burial pattern? The correct answer to question number 4 is D, as in dog. Each and every one of the original 11 victims that were found were evenly spaced out on the property. There was exactly about 2 feet in between each and every burial site. So there one here, the next one was here, next one was here, next one was here, and so on down the line. But they were evenly spaced out. And all of them were facing the same direction. Chad's book should be on fire. Some dogs bark at everyone they don't know. My dog that I don't have anymore. He's on the shelf above me here. But Lucky, he believed everybody wanted to be his friend. And he would run up to everybody like, "You want to be my friend, right?" He was a friendly dog. All right. Question number 5. How many complete sets of remains were discovered ultimately on the site? Was it A, 13, B, 19, C, 11, or D, 14? Question number 5. How many complete sets of remains were discovered ultimately on the site? Good old Chad Daybell. $144,000. Killer with OCD. Just those of Pauly Shore. How many cassettes of complete remains were there? Just those of Pauly Shore. The Weasel. Pauly Shore, the Weasel. Question number 5. The correct answer is A as in apple. 13 complete sets of remains were eventually found on the site. 11 of them lined up side by side with approximately 2 feet in between each and every one of the burials, all facing the same direction. 2 more facing with their feet towards the other 11 this way and facing the opposite direction. Creepy as hell if you actually see the picture of the actual site itself when they discovered them all and where the markers are of each and every one of them. Question number 6. What was the gender of all of the remains found on the site? Was it A, male, B, female, C, a mix, or D, undetermined? Question number 6. What was the gender of all the remains found on the site? Callie Lisa, I knew 144,000 would come up on sometime tonight. It's true. Question number 6 of 20. Boop a doop a doop. Doop a doop a doop. RuPaul? Inner Peace says they were all chipmunks. Freaking mountain lion. Question number 6. The correct answer is B as in boy. All of the victims were female. Next question. Most but not all the victims shared which background? Was it A, college students, B, homeless, C, escort sex workers, or D, runaways? Question number 7. I think it is. I don't know why that thing moved over the top of the number. But anyways, but not all the victims shared which background? No, Cal and Lisa, mix as in some male and some female, not individuals who are half man, half woman, hermaphrodites, or people who have had sex changes. That was meant to be as mixed as in half, some maybe 10 women and 1 man, or 3 men, and 10 women, whatever. All were Jersey Shore super fans. Holy Pippin Dot. Almost mountain lions. Most but all the victims shared which background? The correct answer is C, as in cat. They were escorts, sex workers. Of the 13 remains, there are some unidentified even as of 2026, but those who have been identified, all of them worked either as a sex worker, or they worked as an escort and other areas along that lines, and sex worker. They worked either at both of those or they worked at one of them. Mainly sex worker. Question number 8. The victims were believed to have gone missing primarily during which years? Was it A, 2010 to 2014, B, 1985 to 1990, C, 2006 to 2009, or D, 1996 through 2005? Lori Vallow, former husbands. Question number 8. The victims were believed to have gone missing primarily during which years? Bing! The correct answer to question number 8 is D, as in dog. 1996 through 2005. The Wonder Years. Question number 9. What age range did most of the victims fall into? Was it A, 18 to 30, B, 12 to 17, C, 30 to 45, or D, over 50? Question number 9. What age range did most of the victims fall into? No. What age range did most of the victims fall into? The correct answer is A, as in apple, 18 to 30 years of age. Question number 10. Which law enforcement agency led the investigation with help from state and federal authorities? Was it A, the Bernalillo Sheriff's Office, B, the Albuquerque Police Department, C, the New Mexico State Police, or D, Arizona State Police? Which law enforcement agency led the investigation with the help of state and federal authorities? Question number 10. Mayberry Sheriff Department. Don Knotts. Andy Griffin. The FBI unit in charge of missing mattress tags. Which law enforcement agency led the investigation into with the investigation with state and federal authorities? The correct answer is B as in boy, the Albuquerque Police Department. That is our first 10 questions. If you are new here or watching this afterwards, after the first 10 questions, we take a 5 to 6 minute break while I cover 2 cases of people who are missing and endangered from around the United States and Canada. You can stick around and be here for that, or you can go do whatever you need to do. Shotgun a beer, smoke a bowl. Hell, I don't care what you do. You do what you do normally. All right. The actual time for your break does not start until I read the first one. But I am working along with several organizations: the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Charlie Project, the FBI, Alaska Bureau of Investigation, Indigenous Missing Persons Unit, the RCMP from Canada, NAMUS, in coordination with state and local law enforcement agencies. Together, we aim to shine a light on these cases, support the families impacted, and keep their stories alive and in hopes of bringing resolution. That is the hope of it all. Oop, I skipped it. But to answer questions and the criticism that's been put forth in the comment section of live streams, I am not paid by any of these agencies to do this. I do this because I care, and because I have a family member who is on this list of people who are missing, and I understand how even the smallest lead can help bring someone home. And the missing and endangered you're about to watch is the longest running such program on the internet that I know of. And if you can find another one, let me know about it. But that's according to Google and to YouTube. I have the longest running, segment about missing and endangered people. With that said, 3 cases that I like to highlight. I'm going to highlight every single day, weekend throughout 2026. The first one is April Dawn Andrews, has been missing since 2006. And then Marie Wellborn has been missing since 2021. And Sylvania Morris has been missing since 2016. Those helpline tip numbers that you see below each of their pictures there, you can call and leave a tip at those numbers. Again, just because someone has been missing for years does not mean that hope is all gone and that they cannot be found alive and returned home safely. We just had a case in 2020, the year before, in 2024, where a woman who was missing for 43 years was found alive and well. Of course, she didn't know she was missing, but it doesn't matter. That case was solved after 43 years of being missing. Our first case tonight is of Linda Marie Law. She goes by the alias of Missy for her first name. She was 55 years of age when she vanished, 78 in 2025. She is a Caucasian female. She went missing from Peary, South Dakota, last seen on 8/16 of 2002. She is 5'8", 160 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Habits and features is she loves the outdoors. No known scars, tattoos. Medical condition is she is bipolar and she does take medication for it. It was last seen in Peary again on the 16th of 2002. She got mad at her boss and left work. She has not been heard from again. Her boss attempted to report her missing when she didn't return, but was unable to. to do so. Linda did not trust banks and always cashed her paycheck at work. Law, her last name, didn't keep in close contact with her family, but she occasionally would call on special occasions and on the holidays. Her family hasn't heard from her since 2002, and they are the excuse me, who reported her missing in 2007. Possible sightings of Linda were reported in 2009 and in 2010. So the likelihood is she just got tired of everything and just moved on and didn't tell anybody where she was going. Law, again, that is her last name, didn't own a car at the time of her disappearance. She is described as a loner who very well traveled. She has lived in a lot of places: Illinois, Alaska, Canada, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Wisconsin, Minnesota, up near International Falls near the Canadian border, and in California. Yeah, in her 55 years, she has definitely traveled around a lot, lived in a lot of places. She left her apartment clean and well kept. There were no signs of foul play in her apartment, and the apartment looked as if Linda never lived in it. This was a furnished apartment, and everything that was supposed to be in the furnished apartment was still there. When they went to go check on the apartment, they found no personal effects of hers anywhere in the apartment. Not a picture, not a spare key, not a key ring, nothing. The place was clean as if the day she moved in. Again, this was a furnished apartment. If you know anything about what may have happened to Linda Law, you can call 1-605-773-7344. Our next case is of Michael Wright. Alias or other names that he has used in the past are unknown. He was 32 when he vanished. He turned 35 in 2005. He is a Native American. He was last seen in Rapid City, South Dakota on 2/9 of 2022. He is 5'8", 180 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. No known features or habits. He does have several tattoos, but no one has a picture of them. Apparently, people just don't snap pictures of their friends' tattoos. No known medical conditions for Michael Wright. There are next to no details about Michael Wright's before he vanished. Michael does have connections to Minnesota, Canada, and Michigan. And one thing to note about his physical appearance is both of his ears have several ear piercings. If you know anything about where Michael Wright might be, you can call 1-605-394-4131, or you can click on the live link there to Missing South Dakota People that is on your screen. And every weekend, I'm going to feature the one of my missing brother, William Edward Finley II. Went by Billy, Eddie, or Ed. He was 22 or 23 when he vanished. He would now be in his 70s today. He obviously is a Caucasian male. He vanished from either the Prescott, Wisconsin area or Hastings, Minnesota in 1977, 1978. He is 5'10", 155, 165 pounds back then. Obviously, people's weight changes. He had brown hair and bluish green eyes. He habits or features. He did smoke cigarettes back then, but we don't know if he does in 2025. He has a birthmark, but we are not disclosing the location of that birthmark. And if he is possibly a diabetic, because it runs in my family. In brief, my brother was estranged from the family after he opposed my father's strict religious beliefs. As a result, all known photographs of him were deliberately removed from the family photo albums. While some survived, we wish not to share. He may be served in the U.S. Armed Forces between 1979 and 1980. Unsure of that. We do have his Social Security number, and he hasn't been used in over a decade. We are not disclosing the location of where that he used his Social Security number. He is not listed in the SSA death database or in any state database, and he is not listed as a John Doe or in anything in any state. We've already checked that as well. Thank you to those who sent me that suggestion. Have you checked the John Doe database or name us. Yeah, I've definitely checked it, but thank you for the suggestion. If you know anything about where, that would help lead to his, discovery, you can click on the live link there. Obviously, some of the personal information has been removed because we're tired of people, and their wacky, leads, and people who think that I gave you a lead, you got to pay me for it. Well, you kick rocks. Again, you can support my content in multiple different ways: gifts, super chats, super stickers, super things, channel memberships, merchandise, PayPal direct donations, and Patreon. It's not required, but I have to put it out there, and the live links are right there for you. So if you need to find them, they're also on my channel in several different places. Your break time is not over with yet. You still have 1 minute left. Oop. One thing that's interesting to read is Interpol's Most Wanted. I have never read Interpol's Most Wanted, Sweet Universe. Callie Lisa has been a channel member for 12 months. Thank you very much for being a channel member, Callie Lisa. And everyone else who has been a channel member or here just watching this content and subscribing, I certainly appreciate it. People are weird. That prank stuff, yeah. Stupid, strict religious beliefs forcing everyone to believe like them. My father, Reichardt, was Roman Catholic. The first 5 years of my life, I grew up in the Roman Catholic Church. And my father pretty much kicked my brother out of the family because he said he joined a cult, which to my father was anything from being a Lutheran to a Baptist to Seventh-day Adventist. Any religion other than Catholic or Roman Catholic was considered a cult, weird, not following of the good book. So I did when I was a receptionist. Work would get boring. All right, we are back from our break. We actually went a minute and a half over. Without further delay, let's get back to our normal programming. Question number 11 is now on your screen. What did the media nickname the killer before changing it to the West Mesa Bone Collector? Was it A, the Plateau Killer, B, the Mesa Ripper, C, the Albuquerque Slasher, or D, the Daybell Ripper? Some people do. That is true, Sweet Universe. Some people do. Question number 11 of 20. What did the media nickname the killer before changing it to the West Mesa Bone Collector? Smoke 'em if you got 'em. What did the media nickname the killer before changing it to the West Mesa Bone Collector? We got A, B, and C as the answer so far. Son of Dad, SOD. We got B and another C. They nicknamed the killer Lawrence Welk. Tiny bubbles, and a 1, and a 2, and a... Tiny Bubbles. Used to watch the Lawrence Welk show with my father. The Daybell Boring book author. Question number 11. The correct answer is A, as in apple. The Plateau Killer is the name that they first associated with the killer, was the Plateau Killer. Then they changed it to the West Mesa Bone Collector. Question number 12. What key forensic method has helped identify several victims years after their murders? Was it A, fingerprint matches, B, DNA, C, dental records, or D, facial reconstruction? Question number 12. What key forensic method has helped identify several victims years after their murders? Lawrence Welk had a perfect cover. Didn't they say, what's his name? Chuck Berry from the Gong Show? Wasn't he like supposed to be a serial killer or a CIA operative or something like that too? There's a show you would never have on television ever again. You just imagine that them trying to put out the Gong Show today. That would never fly. Your dad was a Roman Catholic as well? Yeah. Yeah, mine was until the church, the Roman Catholic church that he belonged to, back home closed, and it became a Catholic church. And then he converted to, just a regular Catholic, Catholicism. Barris, Chuck Barris, was that his name? Question number 12. The correct answer is B, as in boy. DNA. DNA has helped identify several of the victims after their murders, and particularly using familial DNA has helped identify several of the victims. Question number 13. 13 discovered victims. How many more missing women may be victims that haven't been found? Is it A, 14, B, 21, C, 9, or D, 11? All right, background on this question, and I have it circled on my sheet as well. There are additional women who have been reported missing who have never been found from around the Albuquerque, New Mexico area who vanished during the times that these other women were murdered. But they believe they may be additional victims of the West Mesa Bone Collector. And how many of those cases do they believe may be of those missing women? I loved the Gong Show when I was a kid. Yeah. My mom was until she had 3 kids in 3 years. And when she went to the priest to ask about the birth control, he said, no, God will provide. Wow. So, how many of the missing women from Albuquerque, New Mexico, during the times of the murders, do they believe are probably victims of the West Mesa Bone Collector? Question. Question 13. 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, 13. 13 discovered victims. Question number 13. The correct answer is C, as in cat. 9. There are a total of 14 other women who are missing from the Albuquerque, New Mexico area that vanished during the same time frame that the other women were eventually, went missing and found murdered on the West Mesa Plateau. But they only believe that 9 of those missing women are possibly victims they have not found yet of the West Mesa Bone Collector. Next question. Question number 14. Most of the victims were murdered by which method? Was it A, gunshot, B, poisoning, C, stabbing, or D, strangulation? You were born via the rhythm method? I was born via ladies' night. I was born via midwife. Was not born in a hospital. We don't have a hospital in the small town that we lived in. Where our family farm is. Nearest hospital is about 28 miles. Most of the victims were murdered by which method? The correct answer is D as in dog, strangulation. I was born 9 months after Memorial Day weekend. Question number 15. What is truly bizarre and highly risky about the location where all 13 victims were discovered? Was it A, a residential development yards away, B, next to a police station, C, a heavily patrolled area, or D, feet away from another known burial site? Question number 15. What is truly bizarre and highly risky about the location where all 13 victims were discovered? I am out of water. I have to get another water. Hold on. Your daughter is too sweet. Question number 15. The correct answer is A as in apple. If you stand directly in the middle of where all 13 bodies were discovered, you will see a house approximately 75 yards away. The only good thing for the killer, the West Mesa Bone Collector killer, is that house that is about 75 yards away does not have any windows on that side of the house that look out into the field where all 13 bodies were found. But that close, 75 yards away, is a residential housing development. Barry Morphy's Boneyard. Barney Fife. I loved watching Barney Fife. My favorite on the show was Fish. Abe Lagosa. Fish. That was his character, Fish, or Fish was, I can't remember which. What is well, Abe Lagosa character on Barney Fife, Barney Miller, Barney's Miller. What you? Oh, sorry. Next question. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on it already. I was looking down and I hit the mouse. All right, next question. What unique restraint was found on 11 of the 13 discovered bodies? Was it A, handcuffs, B, hemp rope fibers, C, duct tape residue, or D, zip ties, not sold retail, but online? Yeah, I know. I know in a piece, but I was already thinking about Barney's Miller and and Abel Lugosa and how many times he was reported dead before he actually did die. And then and then I saw Barney, and it triggered that memory. Oh, Barney Miller, Barney Fife. I know Barney Fife was the bumbling, deputy on the Andy Griffin show. What was he also in? Was he Gomer Pyle? No, no, he wasn't Gomer Pyle. That's Jim Neighbors. Is it Jim Neighbors? Is that the same as Barney Fife? I can picture. Um, my brain's all scrambled now. Boy Scout hats, Chinese finger cuffs. The more you pull, the tighter it got. What unique restraint was found on 11 of the 13 discovered victims? He was the next Mr. Roper on Three's Company. Don Knotts. Don Knotts. Yeah, that was the Barney Fife, Don Knotts. And then Mr. Roper. Yeah, that was Don Knotts. What was Jim Neighbors? Jim Neighbors was Gomer Pyle, MC. But he was on the Andy Griffin show. But what was he the tow truck driver? The auto mechanic? I'm sure somebody out there knows what Jim Neighbors was. What was his role on the Andy Griffin show? Oh, anyway, what unique restraint was found on 11 of the 13 discovered victims? The correct answer is B as in boy, hemp rope fibers. Some of them had complete rope, still on them, and others had just little fibers left around their wrists. Hemp rope fibers was found on 11 of the 13 victims. All right, next question is, what environmental factor helped preserve the remains of all 13 discovered victims? Was it A, heavy late season rainfall, B, frozen ground, C, dry desert climate, or D, clay soil? Question number 17. What environmental factor helped preserve the remains of all 13 discovered victims? Gas station attendant. Thank you, Purple. Fish was able to Lugosa on Barney Miller. Hemp, such a hip criminal, right? Except for that hemp has been used in the United States Navy. I don't know when they started. I'm guessing going back to when the United States first formed the Navy. Hemp rope, very popular in the Navy and in nautical rope. And hemp is so common. Well, it's not as common as going to the your hardware store and buying it though. His calling card could have been one of Zoma's predictions. What environmental factor helped preserve the remains of all 13 victims? The correct answer, question number 17, is C, as in cat. Dry desert climate. Question number 18. Which suspect received major attention as the possible killer, but was later ruled out? Was it A, Joseph Duncan, B, Gary Ridgway, C, John Gacy, or D, Lorenzo Montoya? No, Jim was on Barney Fife. Barney was on Don Knotts. So before Jim Neighbors played Gomer Pyle MC, he played a hippie on another show before that. Hippie beatnik, character. I can picture him. He had like a little tiny like beard thing right here. That was it. But he was on that before Gomer Pyle MC. Pee Wee Herman, Bob Barker. Which suspect received major attention as a possible killer but was later ruled out? Question number 18. The correct answer is D, as in dog. Lorenzo Montoya was considered to be the number one suspect in the case, and they paid a lot of attention to him and dug through his entire where he was and everything else. But Lorenzo Montoya was eventually cleared because his DNA did not match any of the DNA that was discovered on the victims. So he was ruled out. If you have not read about Lorenzo Montoya and his murders and his crimes, I suggest that's a good subject matter for you to read up on. Lorenzo Montoya. And no, he is not from Scarface, aka Ronald McDonald. Question number 19. 13 discovered victims. How many remain unidentified as of 2026? Is it A, 0, B, 2, C, 4, or D, 3? How many of the known discovered victims remain unidentified out of the 13 as of 2026? Yeah, I know it was Gilligan. Gilligan came way later, though. But I can't. I can picture him in the TV show. Obviously, it was black and white television. I think one of the other guy went on to and had another show as well. I want to say he was on a show that not Jim Neighbors, but the other guy, it was like the main character. I think he went on to another show where he married, or was dating a witch, kind of like Bewitch, but not the show Bewitch, but it was something like that. McDonald's food does kill. Well, I'm safe. If McDonald's food kills, Rycart, I'm safe because I don't eat that stuff. I do not eat fast food. All right, how many of the 13 discovered victims remain unidentified as of 2026? The correct answer is D as in dog. There are 3 victims. They have their remains, their DNA, and they have not been able to identify them. Even with doing familial DNA searches, they have not been able to find, who they are. 3 of the 13. And that is it. That is all of the trivia. How did you do tonight on the trivia? I knew 7 of the 20 questions on tonight's trivia. And I would have got myself a D on tonight's trivia based on my previous knowledge on the subject matter. I was not exactly, the most up to date on the West Mesa Bone Collector. I thought the killing stopped after Montoya was shot and killed. The murder stopped well before then, Sweet Universe. But I got 7 out of 20. Again, it's not required that you keep score. Some people like to keep score. Some people don't. It's completely up to you. We're only here to play for fun and entertainment purposes only. So, Sweet Universe, I did my usual D. Well, you read about Lorenzo today? You have a category from me. Riker, I pity the fool. Riker, 0 Z for 0. Pick everything up so I get one right. Anna Pease says. You need to study better. Does anybody have a suggestion for a trivia night that they would like to see in the future? Because if not, I'm going back to this little black book, and I'm going to grab one out of the list of suggestions by Cement Shoes. Don't know which one it's going to be. I mean, they're the first, I think 20 pages are all some suggestions by Cement Shoes. And so I'm going to grab one of those. I don't rank anywhere. I got one. No, you are a rock star. You can't be judged. Everybody gets one. If you were paying attention to trivia or if you wrote it down on paper, all the answers tonight went A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, over and over again. Jimmy Seville, does he qualify? Of course he does. Just because he's from the UK and his crimes, he committed were in the UK, doesn't mean we can't do it. Seville. But all the subject matter is, suggested by you, the viewers. Like every other, this is the 390th, edition of Trivia Night. That's 390 suggestions from you, the viewer, and I appreciate each and every one of them. What about the railroad killer? Railroad killer. I'll look it up. Seville was definitely, well, a con man, a pedophile, a chronic abuser of, there's a lot of things that we could touch on in Trivia Night, about Jimmy Seville. The railroad killer was a man. I'm not familiar with the name, the railroad killer. I know of a couple that come to mind off the top of my head that were what they called them, train jumpers, people that rode the rails, hobos that committed murders. What is your email, Will? There you go, sweet universe. 411now business@gmail.com. It can also be found on my YouTube page. You can go to the top of it, and there's like 3 dots, and you click on it to see more. That'll show you all the social media links, along with other ways to support this content. And you scroll down, and it'll ask you, are you a human or are you a robot? If you say you're a robot, it will not show you my email address. But if you say you're a human, because a robot wouldn't do that, right? It will show you my email address along with my P.O. box. He was on a killing spree in the 90s. Well, I have a few suggestions. I will be emailing you tonight. Please do, Pippadot. I always look forward to hearing from you. Interesting. The railroad killer. I'll definitely look into it. Because I'm not sure. I don't have any trivia done for next week. I'm just going to probably grab one of the ones that I have that are partially done and complete it. Because usually it takes me about a week, 2 weeks to, especially if it's a new subject matter like Jimmy Seville. I have to go to U.S. Crimes Trivia and see if they have it on their list. And they have, I don't know, it's like 113,000 different subjects that you can pick from on different people. And you can't find it on a website. They have a website, but you have to pay to get it. Will, do you need details when you submit requests? No, just need the actual. If it's called the railroad killer, just type that into it, railroad killer, or the name of an individual that you would like to see, Trivia Night done about, Pippadot. You don't have to put any details, don't have to write it out long, any kind of description, just the name of the person or the case, or a lot of cases they give them nicknames to the cases, like the Zodiac, or the West Mesa Bone Collector. You just put that in there, and I'll take it from there. I'm sorry, I can't spell tonight. Railroad killer was definitely a horrible person. Well, I think most killers are. He scared my family because my beloved uncle was a hobo until he wrangled him. Oh, wow. Did that take place in Minnesota? I was telling people, about this before, Sweet Universe. I used to jump on the train along with my uncles, and we used to ride the rail, jump on a boxcar from Little Falls. We'd go out my grandmother's, the kitchen door, walk through the backyard, past the garage. Then there was an alleyway, and then there's a ditch, and then there's the railroad tracks. The train always stopped there when it was heading north because there was a trestle train bridge up ahead that it had to stop for. Okay, it didn't go up like this; it came up and down like that, so boats could go up and down on the Mississippi. But anyways, the train would stop, and we just get on it, and we'd jump on the train and then ride up to my grandfather's farm up there to hang out for the day. Maybe help him do work or whatever, and then we'd do the same thing back, or have my grandmother then come pick us up. I was 11, 12 years old when I used to do it. I mean, obviously I had help from my uncles to help me get up into the damn thing, but I used to do it all the time. Just common knowledge, and something we all learned how to do. Just typed it in Google, who was the railroad killer. He came up. Will. All over the West, he would ride the trains. There's a couple of YouTube channels that are just dedicated to that I've seen over the years, where people just riding the rails to to wherever. And a lot of them are out west, and they're not necessarily hobos. A lot of these people are doing it because they just don't want to pay for a Greyhound ticket or wherever, and they like riding the rails. There's like a whole lifestyle around it, and going to hobo camps and stuff like that. Y'all stay safe out there. You never know who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. Good night, Purple. You have a terrific week ahead. Hobo shoestring. I don't know what a hobo shoestring is, but yeah, we used to catch it outside my grandmother's house in Little Falls and ride it up to Brainerd because the train slowed down as it was coming into Brainerd, and then we just jump out and then walk to my grandfather's. But that was back in the 80s. I mean, I know the line is still being used. I don't know if they still slowed down or anything else. A lot of infrastructure and stuff like that's changed. I don't know if they even have that trestle bridge anymore. Maybe they raised it up so it never has to go up and down anymore. I don't know. I know the last time I was in Little Falls, I was really surprised, by just how much has changed over the years. And I mean, a freaking Walmart there now. So much has changed. You never know. His name? Oh, his name is Hobo Shoestring. Okay. Now, this is your the more you know moment. Da, 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 da. Shoestring Hobo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take off in the stream there. I want again thank you everyone for being here. Those who are watching this and after it being live. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up on the way out, if you would, please. I certainly appreciate it. Otherwise, I will see you all again soon. You have a terrific week ahead. You stay safe out there. And you stay safe on the roads of America, right, Cart? Bye.